I was on that great fire last year, and now here we are again, and it's just barely into June, and we're doing this already.
A sad reality for people living in the inland Northwest. Fire season already underway, and here we are in mid-June. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Whitney Ward. Mark is off tonight. The fire yesterday prompted a massive response from wildland fighting crews. But tonight, some good news as we are getting our first look at some of the aftermath. Take a look at your screen. We do have level 1 get ready and level 2 get set evacuations in place still. At last check, DNR said the fire has been 100% lined, only 10% contained. KREM 2's Nathan Hyun has been behind the fire line all day. Nathan, what have you seen so far?
Well, Whitney, it was a devastating scene. I'm on a property that saw the worst of it. Right here, more than half a dozen vehicles and an outbuilding were destroyed. And I had a chance to speak with this property's owner.
And that's where Emily and I were at when we smelled smoke. And we ran out and ran down there and looked around the corner. The shop was very tall. When we looked around the corner, it was a wall of fire back in those trees.
Fire was all Todd Graves could see.
From the time that we saw a wall of fire until we left was probably 20 minutes.
Graves has lived on his property for more than 20 years. He's a former firefighter himself and never thought this would happen to him.
I've fought fires out here in the West Plains and seen many structures like this, but certainly nothing like this has ever happened to me.
Fortunately, Graves' primary home was saved, but more than half a dozen of his vehicles and his outbuilding were destroyed. He's trying to stay positive.
Got out of here without getting hurt, and the neighbors were here helping, and they got away without getting hurt, and it's just stuff. We can replace it all.
The fire burned 75 acres, but it could have been worse.
And it went from a small size to increase in size very, very quickly. This fire in August will be a different story. The key thing here is June, we still had a lot of green out there to help slow the fire down.
Guy Gifford is a public information officer for DNR. He says air support also played a big role in the fighting of the fire.
So the key thing is we just have more air resources, which is why you're seeing the quicker response.
There were no injuries in the fire, and DNR says evacuations went smoothly. That was thanks to a portion of Cheney-Spokane Road opening while under construction.
There was really an effort to be coordinated in the situation, and we were able to execute as planned.
Kirsten Davis with the City of Spokane says it has plans in place for emergencies like wildfires, and Tuesday was a good example of that.
The best thing people can do is be prepared in advance for, levels 1, 2, and 3 evacuation measures.
It's a long road ahead for Graves.
We're going to recover.
But it's a road he's willing to take. Now, Guy Gifford with the Department of Natural Resources tells me crews will continue being out here until the fire is contained. He says that more than 70 firefighters are behind the fire lines working the fire. Live in Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
Nathan, thank you. And fire agencies are warning Washington State to prepare for smoke. In fact, it is Smoke Ready Week, and they've released a forecast for fire season. The Wildfire and Smoke Outlook for 2024 is predicting a fast start and slightly more active season than normal in Washington State. Conditions are prime for wildfires this year because of a drought across the region. According to a forecast set by state and federal partners, we already had dry conditions in the fall, then a poor amount of snowpack. The forecast says the eastern slopes of the Cascades are at especially higher risk. All of that means that we need to expect more smoke, and it could come early and often. In fact, now is the time to purchase or build in-home filters. The only real way to prevent smoke, though, of course, is to prevent fires.
Just don't be that spark. Be aware of the burn restrictions in your area. If you're recreating, make sure that those campfires are built responsibly. And if you're towing a trailer east of the mountains, please make sure you secure those tow chains and keep the sparks off the road.
While Washington will likely endure an active season, scientists expect some relief for Oregon and California, which have been getting more rainfall over the past year.